Hey everyone. So this week we're basically doing the subjects again, subjects of the week, and we find it as a group collectively to be more engaging and more conversational that kind of brings out more of our natural personalities rather than trying to, impress you guys with stats and different things like that. Just again, the natural conversations is where we feel we're best at. So we're kind of I believe we're hitting our strides with these. So it's going to be a three-pack this week. Miguel came up with a subject. So first we're going to start off with mine. Then we're going to post Miguel's. And then we'll probably post Eric's last. So again, I think we're really hitting our stride with these weekly, semi-weekly things that we split up so you guys can enjoy more content. And speaking of content, you know the drill. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, all those different things. 305 Insights is on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So we're going to kick off with my subjects. So thanks for listening, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you on the next one. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 305 Insights.
Hi.
I'm Alan Somerton, here with Eric Kuhnhiel and Miguel Sanchez. And today we're doing our subjects of the week because, quite frankly, we have nothing to talk about with the Dolphins, even though they got rid of our linebacker boy.
Done!
They hired a guy from Baltimore, Weaver, whatever. Anthony Weaver, is that his name? I don't even know. Anyways, we're bypassing that. We're going straight to our subjects of the week. This podcast is on my shoulders because no one cares about as much as I do. Miguel doesn't have a subject. Eric doesn't have a subject, but I do. The most overrated quarterback in NFL history. Boys, who is it? Exactly. Peyton Manning. Overrated. The most overrated quarterback. If his last name wasn't Peyton, but that's his first name. Wait a minute. If his last name wasn't Manning and he wasn't Archie's kid, that guy would not get, 5 MVPs that he got? 7 All-Pros or whatever it is. Absolute bum. And before I get into it, I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on that.
No. I want to hear your argument.
So you don't agree with me?
No, I absolutely do not agree with you.
What do you think?
I want to hear your argument. Why?
Where do you place him in the pantheon of quarterbacks?
Quarterbacks. I mean, that's a from off the top of my head. I mean, for sure, he's a top 10 quarterback to ever play in the NFL. Top 5, you're looking at Tom Brady, obviously.
Brett Favre.
No. Montana.
Okay.
Tua.
Oh my gosh. Let's not go there.
I mean, you can even throw Pat in there. I mean, if Pat wins this one.
If he wins this one, yeah.
Even if Pat doesn't
if he wins this one, he's got to be in there.
I mean, Pat's got what? He's got 2, right?
He's got 2, and he's going for his third one now.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
And
even if
he's
he doesn't,
only,
even if he
25?
doesn't get to this, even if he doesn't win this one, and like he finishes his career, like let's say he goes for like 3 more Super Bowls for the rest of his career, but doesn't win anymore, he's still a top 3 quarterback, right? Yeah. Just based on the statistics that he's going to put up,
and his age and how long, and like the longevity of the position that
even
he
though
plays.
It's different now, but yeah,
the longevity is just. But I mean, you're looking at a quarterback that look, honestly, the guy knows his X's and O's. The argument that
every good quarterback should, so that's not even like a compliment.
That is a compliment.
That a quarterback should know their X's and O's. You're saying that Peyton Manning should get a thumbs up for that?
I mean, did you see the way that he owns the line and can read a defense and audibles out of it?
That's all for show.
That's all for show.
That is all for show.
How's his stats?
To pump up his own stats.
Oh,
that's what it is.
So he audibles out of a play.
If
that makes it better.
Wait,
Because
he won MVP. So how many Super Bowls did he win?
2, only 2, and basically he only won 1. We'll get to that in a second. But so we talk about payment, all this, Omaha, and all that stuff. All those games that he had with Ray Lewis and they're audibling on. That's all for show. I felt like I was watching a Martin Scorsese movie on Netflix. Like, it's all directed in a certain way to make him look good. You don't need to do that. Drew Brees rarely did that. Tom Brady rarely did that.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Joe
Also
Montana rarely. What? He did what?
I'm sorry,
What did he do?
we don't speak about the Patriots.
No. What did
right?
he do? The slightly underinflated ball? Is that what we're talking about?
That's
That's what we're
no.
talking
What
about?
about the spike it?
What's spot? That's not Tom Brady.
Well,
Tom,
I mean,
Tom Brady.
yeah,
didn't do
it's
it. Tom Brady didn't do that.
but
I wonder
look,
how far off baseball in terms of getting into the Hall of Fame baseball, and then we're talking about Tom Brady, the steroid era.
Yeah.
Like, do you like nitpick and like because of the speculation of him doing that to the ball? Like, do you still consider him being at the top of the ladder when it comes to all time QBs, or do you like he took steroids, but in this case he inflated the ball, so he's technically a cheater?
So I think
to
the
win
reason
his games or to win the Super
I
Bowl.
think
I think the reason why
organization.
you don't hear like people don't talk about that as much because everybody does it. And we're talking about like, I mean, I'm trying to think of an equivalent, but like when you talk about people who know the game, they're just like, yeah, that could be because like those balls were in a colder room. Like when you go outside and your tire says they're flat, even though the temperature's colder, and then throughout the day they expand. Like it's one of those things where I think everybody, like if you talk about like the Green Bay Packers and the temperatures they play with, or Chicago Bears, like they're not going to have the same type of footballs that they do in Miami or in Texas.
so you believe in science?
Well, hey, it's not one of those types of podcasts.
Okay, no, but what with Peyton, the success that he's had in his career.
What success?
I mean, he's won 2 Super Bowls.
Did he win 2 Super Bowls?
What was his record on the teams other than those 2 Super Bowls?
But one knock that I will say, and it brings back to this point, is that he was always the in season, the regular season MVP.
And that's that's my problem with him.
Oh, okay.
That's why I say he's
There
overrated.
you go.
Because
So now we're getting to his argument. Go ahead.
Because that's the thing where it's almost like I'm trying to think of like another comparison. Like
What, like Lamar Jackson? That can't get past it.
no. By the way, they had the same record in their first 6 games, their first 6 playoff games. So if Peyton Manning was playing in today's age, you know how many quote unquote hot takes there will be about that guy? And Lamar actually has better stats than him because I'm pretty sure like.
Well, the game has changed. Let's
Let's throw that out there. The game's changed.
Okay.
The game has changed, Alan. Come
Okay, yeah, the game has changed, but the
Technically,
quarterback
it
still
hasn't, because
running backs ain't getting used and not getting paid. You're having a quarterback that throws.
Okay, we'll go that route. If the
Technically,
game
hasn't.
hasn't changed,
We're
right?
talking about Lamar Jackson. Michael Vick is in the same category as Lamar Jackson, and that was in the back in the day as well. So you're talking about 2 of the same quarterbacks in 2 different eras.
Okay, well,
that we're doing.
We'll go on the notion of the game hasn't changed. So you need a running back and da. Peyton Manning at who at running back?
Justin Vidai and
Edgar and James. Yes,
Edgar
and
and
who
James.
were his wide receivers?
Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. And he also had a
Very good duo, by the way.
who do you have also at tight end?
Dallas
Clark. Right?
Dallas Clark.
Yeah, Dallas Clark. Not a Hall of Famer.
Not a Hall of Famer,
No. But that guy will get you
Average
700 yards.
Tight end.
But who's the quarterback that's going to give him 700 yards? Because I from what I can remember after, I never saw I don't remember him making an impact in the league. If Payne wasn't his quarterback,
Did he go anywhere else besides?
that's what I'm saying. What ended up happening with Dallas Clark?
I mean, I'm sure.
I don't know.
He played Payne Manning. That's it. So you're telling me that it wasn't an impact that he had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne on the outside that didn't help Dallas Clark either. It was just the fact that they had Peyton Manning.
Wouldn't you say that Peyton Manning would audible into the situation to make Dallas Clark be successful?
You haven't answered my question first. When I'm saying you have 2 number 1 wide receivers, who is the defense going to focus on? Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James, or Dallas Clark? Who are they really going to focus on?
Well, yeah, I mean, their hands are full because they
that's what I'm saying. That, you can't just say that it's because Peyton Manning was a quarterback like that because that's why Dallas Clark was successful.
So your argument is saying that Peyton Manning has always had talent, and that's the reason why he was able to be successful.
That's why he was able to put up, to your point, the regular season numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into the playoffs, and you're not playing in that lovely dome stadium, and you got to deal with a little bit of adversity here and there. Maybe a 10-mile-an-hour wind, instead of air conditioning and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, how many times were they the superior team heading into the playoffs, and they left with an egg on their face?
And what was the team that did that to him?
What do you mean? What was the team that did that to him?
What was always the team that they got eliminated by?
It wasn't
They only
always
won
Tom
one
Brady.
Super Bowl, by the way.
He won two,
No,
but he
won
didn't
two.
really.
He won with.
He won with Denver, but he won. He like he.
Oh,
that
Denver.
really
I
wasn't.
didn't. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He did win one. You know, you're right. He did win one because he
Oh, I
played
thought-
like
okay.
he played like 9
We're talking
games.
about him and the Colts. I didn't realize.
Yeah, that
No, but that's the
game,
thing.
That Denver game was defense, and that's Carolina collapsing on themselves.
Because was it the year that he threw the 55 touchdowns? Was that the year he went to the Super Bowl
No,
against
I think
Seattle?
that was the first year.
No, that was the second year. The second year was the first year he threw like I think 39. Then he threw 55. Then he threw 37, and then the neck thing happened or whatever.
39 what?
Touchdowns.
Wait, the Super Bowl year?
No. Which year did he go to the Super Bowl with Denver where they got
He won 2
destroyed?
years.
I know,
won
but
2
they got destroyed by.
Well,
No,
the one that he
yeah,
won was
first year.
2006.
No. I'm talking about the one in Denver.
Oh.
I know he beat the Saints.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I believe that was a year that he got to Denver.
No, he didn't beat the. I'm sorry, he lost to the Saints. Oh my God, I completely forgot about that. He beat the sexy Rexy Grossman led Chicago Bears. That was his Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
Where
then
Chicago's whole offense was Devin Hester returning the ball on the kickoff. Was that game in Miami too? Did he play both his Super Bowls in Miami?
Yeah.
I just realized that.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That Miami is such a good city like that. Yeah, exactly.
He didn't go out.
Huh?
He only threw 31
He
touchdowns
didn't go
that
out.
year.
Huh?
That Super Bowl year, he only threw 31 touchdowns.
Game's changed.
That's the one that they blew out the Panthers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The first year that he got to Denver, that's when he threw for 55 yards. I mean 55.
No, that was his second year that he threw 55 touchdowns.
God.
No, that was against the Bears. In
All right,
2006.
I don't know what you're referencing because
Yeah.
you're going all over the place.
2006
Right?
was the Bears.
We're not talking about the Bears. I'm talking
The
about
Bears.
Denver. When did he face Seattle?
Oh, Seattle.
Yes, when they lost 40-6 or whatever it was.
When they were
Was that when they had 55 touchdowns and he had the most high-powered offense? And when the lights shone the brightest, the Legion of Boom absolutely made him look ridiculous.
One of the best defense to ever play.
And you had the highest scoring offense ever. He threw the most touchdowns.
Yeah, but
And in
usually
today's NFL, what's better, offense or defense?
defense.
Where the rules dictate.
Yeah, there you go. That's the.
That's
you gotta,
that's
you
why I
gotta
said.
say that
That's
first
why.
before you put the question.
What did I say? In today's NFL, which is better, offense or defense? What is the game? Even back then, what was that? 20? I was like, what? Almost 10 years ago. Even back then, they were still.
Right.
You can't do hand fight. You can't do anything. You can't touch a wide receiver after 5 yards. That's why. I mean, that's why to me the Legion of Boom was actually one of the most impressive defenses of all time.
Because at the time, the era that they're.
No one's going to top that ridiculous statistic of
Which one?
of the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. You know how many
2001?
points?
Oh, yeah.
They gave up 5.8, an average of 5.8
0.8,
points per
yeah.
game in that playoff
Yeah.
run.
But
That's less than a touchdown. And a missed extra point.
then, I would ask you, if you have Peyton Manning as your quarterback, and it just so happened at the time that he was playing against one of the greatest of all times. Do you think that might change your outlook of how you look at Peyton Manning? Because at the end of the day, he would always go in the AFC Championship and play Tom Brady, and obviously we are all in agreement that Tom Brady is a better quarterback than Manning.
Yes.
Correct.
We all agree that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
he would always get beat in the AFC Championship by a quarterback that we all are saying is better than him.
But you're reducing it to one position. Who had the better teams?
Who had the better coach?
Okay, I'm saying who had the better teams?
Yeah, but who had? Okay, you can have a
Who
better
had the
team.
better? That's what I'm saying. Who had the better? Because now you're just making the argument. You're just dismissing everything that individually what these players are. I'm talking about it as a unit. All of them. You can take the coaching and stuff. He had Tony Dungy for a while there. It wasn't like he just had
And
Jim
won with
Caldwell
them,
his
right?
whole career.
Yeah, you won with him.
I mean, Tony Dungy was a winner. I mean, ask John Gruden who gave him that ring in Tampa.
Damn right.
Let's
That
not
is
forget
true.
that. Chucky made a career off of Tony
Yeah,
Dungy's guys.
he made money because of Tony. But
By the way, real quick, I want to preface this. Peyton Manning's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
My argument is I just think he's overrated in the sense of people make him out to be some sort of like savant. And to your point, what you're saying is like, okay, he gets past Brady, and now he has to face the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, if you are this guy who audibles this and does all this stuff, da da da, this and that, and you only put up, I get the whole 40 points from the defense. Like that was just, you know, that's just a bad game.
Yeah, it was just
like like the worst thing happened over and over and over and
quote
over again.
unquote, they shit the bed.
Yeah,
you would say.
But some of that responsibility does have to fall on Peyton Manning, where you led the offense to only, it was either 6, 7, or 8 points, whatever it was that game. Like there has to be some sort of responsibility where, yes, the Legion of Boom was amazing, but Tom Brady beat him. And he scored a lot more than
now
6 or 7
now
points.
You're like changing the conversation to like overlooking just one Super Bowl game, because your argument is saying that he went against the Legion of Boom and then had a bad game.
Okay, well, did the Saints have a good defense? Were they like a top tier defense?
I mean, they closed the game with a pick 6.
So wait, is your argument based on the Super Bowl or the playoffs or whatever, or based on regular season? Like, is he overrated in the playoffs or is he overrated during the season?
I'm just talking about when you finish. To directly answer your question, I think it's a matter of success in the playoffs, because when you look at the culmination of his career, you cannot deny the statistics. You can't deny that. He has the most touchdowns in a single season. He has the most passing yards in a single season. He's got all these, the most MVPs.
What else do you want? What else do you want from a quarter? Like, what else do you want from the guy?
Championships. What is everybody?
He gave you 2.
He gave me one.
But he has 2 rings, right?
Okay. Whose rings would you rather have? Peyton's or Eli's?
Wait, is Eli a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Well,
no.
I mean, he's a
Hall of Famer in my eyes.
I think he's a Hall of Famer too.
He's going to be.
If we're talking about Super Bowls and winning Super Bowls, and Peyton won 2, then what does that make his brother?
Peyton,
Eli, that's what I'm saying.
Eli is undefeated against the GOAT.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's impressive.
He faced Tom Brady twice in the twice. Well, yeah, he faced Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. He can't really face him anywhere else. No, but that's what I'm saying. When I say Peyton Manning's overrated, I'm judging him by, if you look at his regular season statistics and then you look at his playoff performances, he really, like, I know he has 2, but he legitimately has. Well, he legitimately has 2. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't want to be one of those guys where I'm being that far out there. But seriously, he really had no bearing on that team winning in Denver. That last season where every throw that was out of his hand looked like someone shot the end of the football, and it was the proverbial dead duck every single pass. That defense was so amazing that
Von Miller in his like absolute prime.
That the only thing people remember about that
and then
Cam Newton is he didn't want to go after that ball as if
And then 1 year later, after that, he retires, right?
He retired.
That was his last
game.
That was his last season. Yeah,
when he won the Super Bowl.
Oh, would you look at that?
Yeah.
You saw that convenient. Father Time was getting to him. He's like, you know what, this is it.
Even before that
season, you're critiquing a man
before that season
on his final game of his career, of many years.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll ask to group this.
Wait, tell me. Wait, before you ask that, am I supposed to feel sorry for him that he fell off a cliff because he got injured?
I mean,
that's not fault. That's just first of all, that's a player safety. No, but like seriously, that's not fault. That's the fact that he just had all those injuries. Like what was it? The neck thing
that happened in like India, and then it came back.
But what I'm saying, like, I'm not supposed to feel sorry for him. Like he got hit again. He got hit run. Then he can't throw the ball anymore.
I was about to shoot a shot at Andrew Luck. I was gonna say like, damn, if Peyton Manning could play through injuries, why didn't Andrew Luck do it?
I mean, he did. The guy tore his spleen.
That guy was like, fuck.
Because Andrew,
he would have been the next coming for the Colts. Like, I felt like Andrew Luck would have been very successful.
Andrew Luck probably would have been.
That's a very sad story.
I mean,
Andrew Luck is a very sad story.
The stories we probably would have had of Andrew Luck versus Patrick Mahomes would have been legendary.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Just
for sure. The NFL would love to write that script.
I mean, how old is he now? He's still like would be in his young 30s.
He can still throw the rock.
He looks like
wait. How does he look
like
now?
He's lost
he looks.
pounds.
He looks like you remember when he saw like Joe Thomas before and after.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
Damn.
Not that buff, but
so
he must still throw the ball for sure though.
He's got to. Like, just
He's playing flag football somewhere.
can you imagine that playing a flag football?
Dude, you have
Who are
Andrew
going
Luck?
up? Andrew,
You have Andrew
Gary.
Luck as your
Gary.
quarterback?
And then Edgar and Jane as the running back.
Yes. But we're talking about your argument is that he's an overrated quarterback, but how many overrated quarterbacks are in the Hall of Fame then?
Plenty.
All right, solid answer.
I mean, you got Joe Namath, you got Bradshaw, you got. I mean, I'm just trying to think of the older guys because the game's changed so much. But I mean, even if you go to the current ones, Brett Favre is going to be in the Hall of Fame, and if he's not already in the Hall of Fame, he's already in the Hall of Fame. Right?
I don't know.
It's 5 years after retirement, so.
But it's maybe because you just brought something up, like the game of being different from the older quarterbacks that you just said. You would probably say he's a pioneer of the transition of what the NFL is today.
I wouldn't say that, no. Because they didn't change the rules because of him. They just changed the rules. He just took advantage of these rules. And it's the same thing that you could say, Tom Brady was doing that too. Except they only gave him one season, and then they saw what they did with one season. Hey, we can't let that happen again. He almost made it in the 1972 Dolphins. That's just when I say, again, I know Tom Brady's the greatest of all time.
You can't have Tom Brady as a comparison to him.
But I mean, okay, like I said, how many times did he go to the playoffs and crap the bed? How many times did Eli not make the playoffs and he ends his career with the same amount of Super Bowls as he did?
Yeah,
because he's
you've got
dog.
Did Ben Roethlisberger win one or two?
Oh, we're back in this argument again.
He won two, right?
I think he won two.
Yeah,
I think he won
because he won one with Cowher and Tomlin, right?
He won one with Coward. I think it was this
Cowher.
Coward.
Jeez.
He
won one with Tomlin because
Tomlin was the
that was the Arizona game,
Holmes, right?
Was that the Arizona game?
Yeah, yes.
The Santoni Holmes. Yeah,
yes.
I know what you're talking about. And James Harrison with 100 and whatever.
199 yard picking.
It was two.
Yeah. So look, I mean, again, that's all I'm saying with the culmination of their careers. You don't really hold Ben Roethlisberger and Eli Manning in the same breath as Peyton Manning. Yet at the end of the day, they provided the same amount of championships to their respective teams.
So then you're talking about, but now we're counting rings to determine if he's overrated, right? Because I'm trying to understand of your argument is that if what is considered over, how do you consider somebody being overrated? Because I don't think anybody in this room would think he's a top 5 quarterback to ever play the game, but for sure he's a top 10.
A lot of I guess in general they have him as top the number 2, he's top 5.
I mean that's
all time.
I would say I mean because it's driven by probably stats. I would say,
that's what I'm saying when I say he's the most overrated is the sense of everybody looks at him as this is what you want, and again, obviously you want a quarterback that produces and does all this stuff, but you're playing the game to win championships. And we criticize Lamar Jackson for not winning in the playoffs. We criticize.
So you just want, on top of all his good stats, you just want more rings in order for him to not be overrated, basically.
I want
because he produces so many good seasons.
When the lights are the brightest, he is not the guy who throws for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. That's all I'm saying is when you have that quarterback.
That's the argument. Okay.
I mean, for all those years, Matt Stafford was in Detroit. Slugging away and putting up stats up with Calvin Johnson or whatever, right? Never made the playoffs.
Yeah, because they were getting blown out, so you had to throw the ball towards the end of the game, and they're just giving you the underneath because they're just playing prevent, whatever. We're gonna just give you that.
So the Dak Prescott thing.
Ooh.
So Kurt Warner overrated? He has 2 Super Bowls.
He's not overrated, but that's the thing,
dude. He was
a bag boy. No, but that's the thing. Kurt Warner isn't overrated because nobody thinks Kurt Warner is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
I'll give you this.
That's what I'm saying.
Aaron Rodgers retires tomorrow. Do you put him ahead of Payne?
No.
That's Okay. And he's
because
considered he's considered one of the best ones that are playing right now.
And he started late.
But
too,
whenever
didn't he?
you hear people talk about him, the way they
He's a
quantify
jerk?
it is that, well, besides that, he's one of the most talented quarterbacks they've ever seen.
And-
That's
but,
how they
like, he started
quantify.
late though.
They
Like,
never correct. Yeah, he started like
he's a late bloomer.
three seasons or 4 seasons after.
Yeah,
he
because
was
Brett
drafted.
Favre was
Favre was
still,
like,
was
nah,
still
he ain't
in there,
touching
yeah.
it.
But when you hear them talk about that, that's how they really quantify him. Oh, he's one of the most talented quarterbacks we'll ever see. They don't say he's one of the greatest quarterbacks, of all time. They always quantify it in that statement of, oh, he's one of the most talented. Because, again, he never really produced in the playoffs. He always, threw only 5 interceptions the whole year, whatever. Like, he put up ridiculous stats. There's no denying. And then sometimes he didn't really have the talent around them, and he still won. But, again, when you can't say you don't have enough talent and you go 13-3 in the season, and then you lose in the first round, it's like, oh, he needs wide receivers. Okay, so for 16 weeks, he was fine. And then when he gets to the playoffs, all of a sudden, he needs weapons. Like, and I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers in this specific instance. Yeah.
But and that's the thing about football. It's the whole any given Sunday of
Good movie.
well, great movie.
Yeah,
But anything
that was
can happen in a football game, and when it comes down to look what happens in March Madness. Like you get into that tournament and then you got a 16 seed beating a number 1 seed, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god,
Cinderella stories.
yeah,
right?
But and
FAU.
yeah,
Who would think that them would reach the top?
not
of
me.
Final Four.
Not me.
Lost my bracket in the first.
But
week.
again, at the end of the day, UNC has multiple championships. Duke has multiple championships. Kentucky has multiple championships. Like, eventually, you do have those, these little anomalies here and there that go
Mind you,
far.
we're talking about games that we haven't seen. Like I haven't seen. I can't remember those games off the top of my head of how those games were lost. Because there's games that you can watch and you can probably say like, oh, Payne didn't lose that game. It was just the ball, didn't go his way or didn't go the defense's way.
Wait, when you were talking about his throws,
that's like Philip
that was the
Rivers'
season
whole-
that he threw the 50
That is,
touchdowns?
yeah,
That's
great
like Philip
point.
Rivers' whole career.
That is a great point to bring up. That's Philip Rivers' career the whole time. The guy never caught
Down by 4 with 45 seconds left. You need a touchdown.
I think he's a great quarterback too, by the way.
I think
He is, but
Great
in
sidearm
terms of
quarterback.
what he's saying, where the ball doesn't bounce your way, every single time it seems like whenever Philip Rivers got the ball, you're down by 4. You
And
can't
that
get a
team
field goal
wasn't
to send
bad
overtime.
either. Like if you compare him to Peyton Manning, I think Philip Rivers maybe we're talking about like players and stuff. Like he was missing like a few pieces, but like Philip Rivers did what he could.
There was that
He did
one
what he
year.
could. All he
There
had
was the
was
one year where they definitely should have won when they went like 14-2 because they had Antonio Gates.
Antonio Gates and
But other than that,
LT.
they had solid teams, but it wasn't really they're clear cut favorites.
If I were to choose, I would choose Philip Rivers over Peyton Manning any day.
Whoa!
Any day.
Wow!
The guy doesn't curse. Come on.
The hot diggity dog.
I mean,
He really does it. Have you ever
he's
seen
got he's got his own football team. He's up to
His
what 10
kid.
kids, 11
Yeah.
kids now.
so
But
happy
that
when you don't curse.
I get your argument, but overrated. I don't think he's overrated. I mean, if you're telling if I'm having a conversation with somebody and they're like, oh yeah, he's number 2. Okay, you're
You're pushing buttons, man.
calm down here because Mahomes is one more Super Bowl away to overtake him. So, and then you're gonna put him past Joe Montana. You're gonna put him past Steve Young. You're gonna put him past I don't know who else can I think of.
John Elway
John Elway, Troy Aikman.
for those 5 years.
No, but like that's the point that I'm trying to make is that if you're putting Payne,
Who would you rather have, Dan Marino or Peyton Manning?
Ooh, Dan Marino.
Yeah, I'll take Dan.
Because I mean, Dan never had a 1,000-yard rusher.
But I will tell you though, I never got to see Dan play like in his prime. I never got to like.
No, we saw him with like his 8th
We saw him
Achilles
Yeah.
attached to his body.
We saw him towards the
but
end.
like
63-7.
But he still
or
played
62-7.
really well, like towards the end, anyways, for having to
Yeah,
be having
which
injuries.
is why he's a Hall of Famer. He was able to get through that. But when it's so hard to compare a present player or a player that's recently retired or somewhere within the last 10 years or 15 years to someone that was in the 80s and 70s, just because of the dynamic of the game. Like you would say like I would use before. Dan Marino was another pioneer to the NFL that brought an aspect that like this guy can throw the ball from the left hash all the way down the field, 50 yards on the other side of like you just had an arm of that caliber strength, and the NFL has probably never seen that before. And then now they're like, oh, the recruiting's a lot different. It takes one person to do something different that works, and
But
then everybody.
I think that's the
picking
thing
up
we
on
were
it.
talking about. Like, everybody's like, oh, this guy's a once in a lifetime quarterback. Once in a generation. It seems like we have multiples of that. We got Patrick Mahomes. And again, you judge them by winning, like I'm saying, but we have Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow.
Oh, Josh Allen's elite.
No.
Oh.
I'm just saying in terms of the physical nature and stuff like that. We've already had that argument. If you re-listen to the previous podcast and we talked about Josh Allen. But again, these guys that seem like the physical tools and all that stuff. But like you're saying with with Dan Marino, like it was just that extra leap. And you see someone like, damn, time. We really put a lot of time into this one, huh?
Sure
Went all
did,
over
boys.
the place, but all right, real quick, Miguel, yes or no? Peyton Manning overrated?
Overrated, yes.
Eric,
No.
You're such a contrarian, folks. It's unanimous. Peyton Manning is absolutely overrated.
Thumbs down.
We'll see what subject we come up with next, and I'll edit something at the end of this to make it seem like we're really professional. So, thanks for listening. Have a good one, folks. Bye.